Hello and welcome to BS Rugby here on YouTube, and it's time for some European rugby. We have arrived at the weekend. Happy Good Friday to everyone who is in the chat. We are going to be watching London Irish hosting Cardiff Blues. Yes, I'm wearing a Cardiff Blues top again. Who thought we'd see the day when this would happen? And I know someone is very, very happy to see me wearing this. Once again, I'm delighted to be joined by Ben on the channel. Once again, Ben down in sunny South Wales on holiday. How are you doing, my friend? You well?
Oh, very well, mate. Very well. Bit nervous as the kickoff is coming around now, just seeing the build-up now. But, yeah, got to say, it's Good Friday. The sun's out. Brandon's got a Blues top on. It's bound to be a good game.
You've got me in a Blues top again. I've said I'll never wear a Scarlet top as an Ospreys fan. So if you get me in a Scarlet top, fair play to you. Well done. As I just said, it is London Irish against Cardiff Blues. Some interesting news, though, that was reported this week about the Blues maybe not having secured European rugby. It's been reported. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you understand of the situation with that?
Yeah, so from what I was reading earlier on in the week, it seems as though the South African sides coming in to join the Rainbow Cup, it seems as though the top two sides that finished within that are being told that they could use the Rainbow Cup as a way of an entry into Europe for next season. And from my understanding, it is that because the South African sides will be joining the Pro 14, the two sides that have been off, the two places, that have been offered to the South African sides will be in replace of the two fourth place sides in the Pro 14 at the moment, the Blues being one of them. So it's not the news the Blues would have wanted. Because obviously they thought, after that bonus point win against Edinburgh last game of the season, they would have thought that European rugby was in the bag for next season, top tier. But, again, this is early stages. We haven't heard much into it yet. The Blues haven't made an official statement on it just yet. But, yeah, it's definitely some worrying times if you are a Blues fan like I am.
Yeah, I don't really think it's very fair, to be honest. It doesn't make much sense to me, if I'm being honest. Let's get straight into it then. The two teams are, of course, as I said, London Irish. London Irish currently in the Premiership, sitting in 6th. They've won 6 matches this season and lost 7. As we said, we believe that the Cardiff Blues have secured Champions Cup rugby by finishing 4th in Conference B of the Pro 14. Let's get into the teams then. First up, as I said, we have London Irish. This is how they have decided to line up this evening. Parton plays at fullback with Hassel Collins on the wing alongside Loader. Rona and Clues are the centres with Paddy Jackson at 10. He's been fantastic this season, so we will be keeping an eye on him throughout the game. Nick Phipps, very, very experienced Aussie, at 9. In the front row, then you have Clark, Creevy and Chawatama. You then have Knott and Simmons in the locks with Cohen and Tuisi and Rogerson then completing the side. Let's get on to the Blues. This is how the Blues line up this match. They welcome a lot of experienced players back and a lot of flair back. So Matthew Morgan starts at fullback with Josh Adams on the wing with Hallam Amos. Lilo returns with Willis Halaholo, in my opinion, had a brilliant Six Nations alongside Jared Evans. Seems like he's going to sign for the Blues. Now he's not coming to the Ospreys, Ben. So it's all good there. Thomas Williams is at 9. He came off the bench against France after injury for Wales. So good to see him back. Domikowski, Dacey and Lewis are the front 3 with Seb Davis and Corey Hill in the locks. Navidi is back at 6 with Josh Turnbull, captain at 8, and James Botham at 7 with Belcher, Carey, Arhip, Thornton, Robinson, Lloyd Williams, Ben Thomas and Jason Harries on the bench. Your thoughts on that Blues team? You messaged me in the week saying it's an exciting team. It's a very strong side, isn't it?
For me, minus 1 or 2 picks and maybe Hallam Amos at fullback and Owen Lane on the wings, I think that's not far off the Blues' full strength side. But the thing that gets me with that as well is obviously I mentioned the players like Owen Lane out injured at the moment. Ellis Jenkins, who's just made a comeback recently. He's not involved today. I'm not sure whether that's an injury or not. I haven't seen too much into that. But looking at that Blues side, that is almost full strength, which is why I was so excited. You look at that back line, and there's opportunities to attack all across that back line. The midfield, an exciting partnership. But I think through the course of the Six Nations and whilst the Welsh players have been away, both Lilo and Halaholo have shown themselves in a different light, and they've shown themselves, especially in the defensive light. I think Halaholo, when he came on against England, he did get smashed by Ben Curry, but he made some superb tackles in that game under like high pressure situations. So for me, Blues side packed, and it's good to see the names like they're coming back, but also the unsung heroes for the Blues, Christian Dacey coming back in a tucker for me. That's going to be a massive, massive opportunity for the Blues to get good front football, because we saw when we did the watch along for the Edinburgh game, Dacey came off the bench and his first involvement was a sort of 10, 15 metre line break. So, he's got those opportunities. They're not going to come very easily today against this London Irish, this well-drilled London Irish outfit. But we've got to take our chances. As we say in any game and any side, is as long as you can manage the ball well, you're going to win the game. And I think the Blues have really got to be on the money today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really tough game. Let's get to some of your comments. Gregor Galway is supporting London Irish today. Calix says, anyone watch the Zebra Bath game? Very, very good performance for Zebra. Lucky not to win. Bath thoroughly underestimated them. Absolutely. It was a brilliant game out in very sunny and very warm Italy, as Bath did just about get the job done. But Zebra, fair play to them, rushed into an early lead. It was good to see them do that. Let's see how Benetton go today. And let's talk about London Irish. This season, a mixed bag. They've shown that they can certainly throw the ball about. Your thoughts on them and the importance of Paddy Jackson to them, because he's been one of the form 10s in the Premiership.
Yeah, I was having a little look, and like yourself, I've watched a little bit more Premiership this season, just because to me it's a bit more interesting than the Pro 14 at times. So it's been one that I've enjoyed watching quite a lot. I think Paddy Jackson is the metronome that gets this London Irish side ticking, and he really does pull them around the field and puts them in the right places. Just looking at some of his stats, he's not only a kicking 10. I think when we saw him in his early career, he was very much dominated physically, but he had a really, really good kicking game and a really accurate kicking game. Whereas this season for London Irish, he's made 11 clean line breaks, which for an outside half is exactly what you want to be seeing, and 122 points from the boot. I mean, that is outstanding for a player. I think he's currently 4th in the Golden Boot in the Premiership. So he is going to be on the money today. The Blues can be a little disciplined at times and give away silly penalties. You can't afford to do it against a player like Jackson, because he will bang them over from wherever he fancies. But for me, the player that excites me the most in the London Irish team is Albert Tuisui at 8. Any man who's brave enough to dye his own ginger beard, his own beard ginger, deserves to have all the credit in the world. But he's an absolute monster of a ball carrier, currently up towards the top of the Premiership in terms of stats, averaging just over 2 meters a carry, which, if you think about it in context, that if you're making 2 meters every time you carry the ball, that's incredible to have on your side. And that's what will give the likes of Phipps and Jackson the platform they need to launch their backline. So the Fetchers in the Blues side, Botham and Navidi, they've really got to be on the money today. Legally trying to slow that ball down, but also when we've got the ball, making sure that it's on a nice platform for our 9 and 10 to attack, which, in my opinion, are equally, if not more, exciting.
Yeah, I think the battle of the breakdown is going to be massive. I think that's why seeing Navidi back in the squad gives me a lot of confidence for this team. The fact that you've got someone who is such a good jackler of the ball and will also do so much good work. I thought James Botham, am I saying it right? Is it Botham or Botham?
I thought it was Botham just because of his dad was Ian Botham, so I just went with that.
Well, we'll go with Botham then. I thought James Botham had a really good Six Nations. Didn't play a lot, but what we saw was really encouraging. And I think their impact at the breakdown could be really important, because you look at the back line of the Blues. If you can turn that ball over and the likes of Thomas Williams can get it out to Jared Evans, we've seen Halaholo, the impact he had for Wales. And I'd have loved to have seen him start against Italy. I'm not sure why he didn't get that opportunity, but the back line there, Matthew Morgan, we know defensively isn't great, but going forward has brilliant feet. And you'd feel sorry for the Irish front row if it's a little bit later on in the game and Matthew Morgan is running at them. But no, are you confident going into this one, or is it more like a quiet confidence?
I think for me, it hinges on 2 big things. I think we've got to get parity up front. I think looking at this London Irish team, I think the one stat that I did pick out is they do give away a lot of penalties at the scrum. And the Blues have gone with a very, very strong front row of Domachowski and Dylan Lewis. Now, Dylan Lewis has come out in the press this week. He feels like he's on top form. He's a little bit annoyed the fact that he's been left out of the Welsh squad for as long as he has now, when he's playing what he feels is some of his best rugby. A couple of injuries letting him down along the way, but those three, Dacey, Domachowski and Dylan Lewis, they've really got to work well today to get that front football. And as long as they get that front football, it then comes to my second hinge point, is how well our halfbacks can manage the game. Looking at the way the Blues play, they're very guilty on a lot of occasions of playing too much ball in the middle of the field. And I think, especially in a European game, Jared Evans has come out this week and said that, he feels like he's learned a lot in camp, being around the players like Dan Biggar and Callum Sheedy, but also having the immense experience of Neil Jenkins in camp as well. He said he feels like he's learned a lot, and we need to see that today. He potentially, and you said it when we mentioned the teams, he's on the brink of signing a new contract, which I think for his career development is probably the best thing that could happen to him, because he fits perfectly into this Blue setup at the minute. So I really want to see how he goes today, but not only in terms of his attacking game, but how well he can manage that back line and move them forward, even at times where it seems like there's nothing much on.
Yeah, I think Jared Evans is an interesting one. I always banter you and say that he's coming to the Ospreys. It looks very unlikely that he can be moving anytime soon. But I think the thing with Jared Evans is he needs to have that control of the game that little bit more. We know the flair that he can bring. We know the creativity that he can bring. The ability that he has is incredible, but he needs to learn how to control the game a little bit more, in my opinion. He needs to learn how to manage the game, knowing when to kick, knowing when to take it into contact, knowing when to do the simple things well is what he needs to do. Just before the game kicks off, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're new, like the stream as well, and get involved in the chat. Let us know who you're supporting and where you're watching from. Richard Huey, good afternoon. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Good to see you in the chat as always. Right, let's get to our predictions then. We are about 2 minutes away from kickoff. I'll come to you, Ben. First of all, are Blues going to get into the quarterfinals of the European Rugby Challenge Cup? A lot of success in this competition over the years. Are you backing yourselves to get the job done today?
Yeah, we've got a lot of players in there that have been at this stage before. A lot of this squad were involved the last time the Blues actually won the Challenge Cup, so they know what it takes. They know how to play cup rugby. There's going to be times at this game where they've really got to dig deep, but I back them to do the job. For me, Blues by 7-10.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I'm going to back the Blues to get it done as well. I am going to back the Blues. I think it'll be close. I'm going to say 3 to 7 points. I think it'll be pretty close, but I think that back row for the Blues will make such a difference. And yeah, I think if Thomas Williams is firing, if Navidi is putting in some massive hits and you're getting good turnover ball, then yeah, I'd back you to get the job done. Yes, I'm actually really excited for this one. I think it'd be really good. Andrew Watkins is supporting the Blues this evening. Let's see how they get on. As an Ospreys man, I'm wearing a blue shirt. I feel ill. I don't know what's going on. I've been peer pressured into wearing this.
Peer pressured into it. No, mate, I tell you, I've found 17 Ospreys forums and I've posted in all 17 of them. This man calls himself an Ospreys fan, but look at this. Look what he's wearing. No, we're Welsh supporters at the end of the day. We just love Welsh rugby, but it's good to see you supporting the best region today, mate.
Oh, dear, I don't know if I would say that. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because for me, I always want to see the Welsh regions do well. So I want to see the Dragons beat Northampton tomorrow. And I'm sure we'll have chats about who the regions are facing this weekend, because there's some tough draws for some of them. But I think on the whole, we've had some decent draws, all for the Welsh regions. I think if you look, especially for Scarlets in the Champions Cup, the teams they could have got to have gotten Sale is good. Both teams are coming out now. The Blues playing in their away kit, I believe it is.
Yeah, playing in white, the blue and white. But yeah, it's. Oh, I don't know. I think there's so much class in this Blues side. I don't see how we lose it. The only way we are going to lose it is if the management falls to pieces. But you look at that back line for the Blues. I was just thinking about it now, just looking at it. All of that Blues backline, all internationals and all current internationals as well. You know, all of them involved with Wales. Apart from Matthew Morgan, you know, he has been involved in the Welsh setup. But and then obviously Lilo playing out in Samoa. So it's it's so many good players on that field. We've just really got to click together, because the biggest thing the Blues are going to have a problem with this year is those top flight players, your like your Josh Adamses, your Thomas Williams. They haven't had a great amount of time in Blues camp because of international. Obviously, they had the Autumn Nations Cup, which took out the first sort of 3 or 4 rounds of the season. And then obviously the Six Nations came around, so they've missed a block of around 7 or 8 games. London Irish are on form, and it's going to take a really, really professional performance for them today. But yeah, I'm backing the Blues to do it. I'm feeling confident more as the game is just about to start. But yeah, it's going to be a good game, mate.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we're going to see some attacking rugby. Obviously, I was actually going to do the Leinster-Toulon game, but that's been cancelled because maybe someone's been out eating waffles again. So, yeah, but we will leave that there. But yes, the Welsh regions, let's see how the Blues do today. Just a reminder, this isn't an actual stream of the game. It's simply a watch along. The game is on BT Sport 3 right now for you to watch. So if you want to watch it there and watch alongside with us, you can. But if you don't have that, you can join us here and we'll keep you up to date on how it goes. I've just kicked off. I'm on just about 50 seconds into this one. So driving more for the Blues. Good to see Thomas Williams back.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
the Blues maul is something they used a lot in the early rounds of the Pro 14. And I think in the game against Connacht, I remember, I think the Blues had something like 17 mauls in a game. It was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, penalty for the Blues there. They know how to keep the ball there and they know how to eke the yards out. The only thing I think that'll let the Blues down today is if they get penalty opportunities around the halfway line. They haven't got a kicker on the pitch that's going to take those chances, so they're going to have to rely on their line out a lot. Jared Evans has got to be accurate from the kick. Try not to be too greedy. And yeah, we should put some pressure on early here. A nice little kick down into the 22.
Yeah, put the pressure. I think the big thing as well is discipline. We've already seen a yellow card already in this competition earlier on today as Bath beat Zebra. Bath having a man sent to a bin for a high tackle for the yellow card there. So discipline is going to be massive, and we've seen it throughout the Six Nations as well with yellow cards and different things going on. So yeah,
I do think a lot of it, though, mate, a lot of it comes down to, for me, it's got to be player management. I think so many times now you see these cards, and yeah, there are the odd occasion where you look at it and go, oh, that's harsh, or come on, ref, what's that all about? But there are a lot of occasions where you look at it and go, come on, like you can adjust your tackle height there. There's so many things you can do. I read an interesting article in the week from Will Skelton, the former Saracen second row. And he was saying about how because he's playing, I believe he's playing out in Japan at the moment. And he said that how he's had to adjust to the game. And he said, if I can, all 6'9" of me, get low enough in a tackle. He said, I haven't received 1 card for my tackle height yet. And he said, if I can get low enough to make these tackles, so can the others. And I completely agree with him. I think it's about, like, some players have just developed a really bad tackle technique over the years. And you can see the way that they fly into some of them. You think, mate, you're never going to get away with that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of it. Yeah, we know it's raw at the minute. There's a lot of emphasis being placed on the rulings. And obviously the fact that red cards are now the primary thought of referees. But yeah, let's see how this game pans out in terms of discipline.
Yeah, another penalty for the Blues here for a high tackle. So chance for the Blues to put them down into the 22 of Irish. Are they going for the posts? They're going for the posts. Well,
I'd love to know who's taking it then. See, that's what I mean, mate. Look at Tuisui, big bloke, and he's dyed his own beard ginger. I mean, I wouldn't tell him he looks stupid, but he looks stupid. He's far too frightening to tell him that it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they go for the posts here, just over the halfway line.
Because the thing is, Matthew Morgan used to kick for the Ospreys, and from what I remember, he's got a pretty decent boot on him as well. But unless Jared Evans is,
it is Jared Evans going for it.
Yeah, he did say that he's worked a lot with Neil Jenkins during the Six Nations break. I think for a player like Jared Evans, it must be so frustrating because you are having these brilliant opportunities to train with the best, to learn from the best. But then also at the same time, you want to be able to express yourself and you want to be able to show people what you can do.
Oh, he's in the post.
Oh,
he's in the post. He had the distance, just not quite the accuracy.
Is there a bit of breeze around today, maybe? No, it looks dead. Bit too much curve on it. But see, that's such a... Oh, hang on, is it a poor chase? Oh, it's not too bad. Lilo's the only man there, really. But a let-off for Irish there. I think, the Blues have started really well in terms of the ambition to sort of push Irish back.
And you know what? That clearance kick isn't the greatest, and he'll give the Blues a chance to play here.
Now, look at that. This is, for me, where the caterpillar thing has got to be looked at, because in that kick, that clearing kick there were 5 players bridging over that ruck, making it that 5-man long. I think they've got to, if they're going to do it, I understand that scrum halves need that protection from the box kick, but for me, they either get rid of it altogether or they limit it and they say you can have a maximum of 2 players distance then, because that was ridiculous then. You probably spent 5 seconds organising those men in the line.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is the ref says use it, and half an hour later the scrum half actually decides to use it. And it's like, well, you kind of said use it a long time ago. But the Blues with possession once again here.
This is where we've got to really sort of put our stamp on the game and remember that this is cup rugby. We're not looking for bonus points. We're just looking to win the game.
Yeah.
The thing I like about the Blues backline as well is, like with our centres, the interchangeable assets that they have. Obviously, Halaholo then looked like he was attacking an outside centre, but whereas he's lining up an inside centre. So it's a really flexible backline.
Definitely. And can't ignore the quality on the pitch, can you? Because
no, and that's the thing. Today. Bringing players in, bringing the likes of these players in who, we couldn't manage to get the Grand Slam, but they're Six Nations Championship winners on that pitch today.
Yeah.
And, they're so good at winning games in the hardest of circumstances, as the Welsh boys will know. That's a silly penalty to give away just outside the 22. And Thomas Williams is off.
Jared Evans.
Wow, come on. He's got to get out to there quicker, ref.
You're not going to be happy with Jared Evans in a second when you see what he does.
Now, for me, that is the good and the bad of Jared Evans. I can see that he's looking for the option to delay the pass, to put someone in a hole, but then he runs out of options and there's no plan B. It's a good little kick there from, I think it was Loader. But this is where we just don't panic.
Yeah.
Just don't panic. There's plenty of time to go in this game. It's still early on. And I think the thing that will be interesting for me across all the games this weekend is where you see two opposite leagues meeting up. When you see the top 14 meet up against the Pro 14 or the Premiership meet up agast the Pro 14. It'd be interesting to see how the different play styles mix up.
So close to turning it over. London Irish with the advantage here.
I tell you what, I really like the look of Ben Loader. He's a really good player.
He does really good. I mean, I think that's harsh on Navidi there. I think he's over the ball.
I think he's in a really strong position. And for me, I always go back to it because I like the way the Wayne Barnes communicates it. For him, he always says that if players are in a position of strength, then, regardless of... The thing that you hear a lot more now is the lifting of the ball. Referees are looking for that ball to be actively lifted up off the floor. And I think it's difficult for a player like Navidi, who's very good at getting that low centre of gravity. But then obviously he's got to lift that mass up as well. So, yeah, good run from Loader there, though.
Yeah. Irish going to the corner here. I thought Navidi was over there. I thought that was okay, but maybe not so much.
But yeah, you look at London Irish's last game. I think as well as they played against Bath, and they did manage to get a win in the end. But if you look at that performance against Bath, there was a time where they were down to 13 men, Bath, and London Irish still couldn't find a way through. So for a Blues fan, you've got to think, looking at that, there are going to be opportunities in this game. But like I said, our discipline, and that's a great turnover at line-out time. Pressure on, line-out steal. Line-out is a strong...
Jared Evans, you've been a bit of a muppet here, mate. Being decisive.
I must be well behind you. I've just seen Loader put the ball up in the air.
I think you're about 20, 30 seconds behind me.
Yeah. Oof.
If Blues score, I won't I won't spoil it for you.
Oh dear.
He's just a little bit indecisive, isn't he? A little bit indecisive.
Yeah.
Just needs to and throw that back in.
Thomas Williams has got to use his experience here. I think it's his 200th appearance for the Blues today, so it's a fantastic achievement for the young man. But defence looks very, very patchy on the outside. Paddy Jackson looking to exploit it. Is that a turnover? Oh, no, come on, ref. Turnbull was in there from the start.
Yeah, and London Irish are going to go for the posts here. So 10 minutes in. First chance for Irish really to get some points on the board.
I think the Blues would be happier for the first 10 minutes. You know, if London Irish get a point here, obviously it'd be disappointing because the Blues have definitely been the more confident, I think, but London Irish have definitely played the more rugby. Blues have just got to remember that they've been in this situation before. They've played teams at this stage of the tournament before, and it'll be an invaluable experience when it comes to later on in the game. Oh, sorry, it was Brophy Clues. They don't like us with these names, do they, Brandon?
Shall I say in one of the players in the front row, I think it's Chawatama, I think his name is. That's an interesting one to try and say.
Yeah, the Chawatama bit, that's class. But for me, I love his first name, Lovejoy. What a great name.
Paddy Jackson missed his kick. He had the distance as well, but it went wide, so it remains 0-0.
It's because he shaved the moustache off, mate. So the question, Brandon, you know, barbers are back open now. When's the hair going, man? When's the haircut coming?
A week on Saturday, finally. Finally, a week on Saturday.
Honest, I've been catching up on. I've been going through the back catalogue of BS Rugby the last couple of days, and watching the development of the hair through the.
Just go from here all the way to keep going. I think the last trim would have been. It'd have been pre-Christmas. When did we go into lockdown? Before Christmas.
Yeah, we went in 23rd of December, 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah. So it had been early December, so it's been a while.
That's a superb take from Matthew Morgan under the high ball there. I was looking at it before the game, and I thought I picked out Josh Adams and Hallam Amos as being influential in this game simply because they're going to have to cover a lot of high balls that get thrown towards Matthew Morgan. He does really well. Oh. Closer one for Paddy Jackson if he just take the points, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's little mistakes like that. I think you'd be encouraged as the Blues, but also you'd be a bit, annoyed little things aren't quite going right here.
You know, looking at that then, and again, it's not been a good 10 minutes for Jared Evans, because if you look there, he hesitates before he kicks that ball up. And I think that's what puts the Blues boys slightly ahead of him.
It should be a fairly easy kick for Paddy Jackson.
But yeah, Dal Young will have had a good background understanding of London Irish going into this game. Obviously, you know, spent a lot of time with Wasps, and you know, a lot of these London Irish players have been there for some years now. Obviously, with the sprinkling of experience, I think the one thing you can say for London Irish is they've recruited really well over the past couple of seasons. You know, usually you see the likes of Phipps, especially Creevy, sometimes Simmons as well. Those experienced players coming off the bench, but like when you see Sean O'Brien on the bench, that's you know, what a player to bring on. You know, 2017 Lions starter in. I think he started in all 3 tests, from what I remember.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
you know, fantastic player. But
just so unlucky with injury, isn't he? Over the years, he's so unlucky. But such a good player, and has always had the ability and the quality. But all those injuries, I mean, really, he should have been starting for Ireland every single Six Nations game. But through injury, just unfortunately hasn't happened at all. What did you think about today's news? Hamish Watson, Six Nations Player of the Match, Player of the competition. Sorry, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think you can take away from just how good a tournament Hamish Watson had. I mean, if you look at all the stats of his breakdown for each game, he has been sort of really. He's been up there as probably the best player on the pitch. little bit disappointed from a Welsh perspective. You know, I personally thought Louis Rees-Zammit would have had it. And I think from your perspective, you would have probably thought that Antoine Dupont would have pipped him to the post. But again, it's voted for by the fans, and it's good to see that the fans have got behind Hamish Watson, because this isn't like a flash in the pan. Hamish Watson has been a superb player for a number of years now. And for me, I think it was an interesting thing on the article that I saw it in, is that surely that cements his place now on the Lions tour. Yeah.
No, I think so. I think does he start at 7? Probably, for me, over Tipuric. So I'm over Tipuric. I don't think Curry goes in there, although Curry has been good. Oh, Corey Hill.
Jeepers creepers.
You're going to see it.
Uh-oh. Oh, you got your hand. It's not a good sign. Go on. Go on. Go on. Oh, Tom.
So unlucky. So unlucky.
See, that's...
Oh. Well, the Blues starting to throw the ball. Yeah.
Love it when Matthew Morgan just picks his head up and has a look. Go on, Lilo. Takes his man on the outside. Go on, Lilo.
Big chance here for the Blues. Some good ball.
There's a man that deserves a mention as well. He was the only Welsh Regions player named in the Dream Team of the season in the award ceremony the other night. Is Josh Turnbull. What a fantastic servant he's been. He
was so good against Edinburgh as well. So good. Advantage to the Blues.
No, they got it. Now, this is where the likes of Thomas Williams is so dangerous.
What do you say here? Do you take the points, or are you going to go to the corner?
I got to think you've got to take your chances here. You've got to take your points, but I'd be tempted to suck some players in and try to scrum. Is he? Oh no!
I'll let you see it.
I'm way behind you. Yes! Yes!
Christian Daisy.
Come on.
Good power from that distance, isn't it? To get that much power from, 5 meters out?
I think as a defender, you are always up against it when a player is attacking you inside the post, because there's only so far you can spread your line. But that's a lot more. You see a lot more of that in the modern game now. Even when the game comes to a complete standstill, players are thinking, right, well, scrum or line out, there's a chance of losing the ball. But if we tap it, we guarantee possession from the first carry. So, that's a really good thought from the Blues there.
Indeed, yeah. Paul King, you're asking where the stream is. It is live on BT Sport. This is a watch long. I don't have the rights to it. It's simply a watch long. So if you want to watch us on BT Sport, if you don't have BT Sport, you can join us here and enjoy the watch long. Blues have just scored a try through Christian Daisy. They lead 5 points to 3, 17 minutes gone.
There's nothing wrong with that. Turnbull's behind the ball. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, and it is given, and Jared Evans has added the 2 points. So Cardiff Blues leading 7 points to 3. And that's the best of Cardiff Blues, isn't it? That back line, having them opportunities. I mean, Lilo took a brilliant line. Corey Hill danced around a few players there, didn't he? And couldn't get it to Thomas Williams. But it's about how the Blues manage this next 5 minutes now. They, give away some stupid penalties and let Irish back into the game. They really need to cement their place here in this match.
It's one thing that really annoys me, and like when myself and my brother watch games and I watch games with friends, it really frustrates me in that you do something really, really well and then you exit really poorly. And I think, I haven't quite seen if that's gone off the field. But yeah, that's exactly what you want. 1 or 2 phases just to get into a more central position and then get it off the pitch, and that's what you want now. Get it from a set piece, hopefully compete for the ball. But yeah. Good start for the Blues. This has been a really promising 20 minutes here. We're taking our chances well, managing the game well. Just, this experience has got to count going into the latter stages now. Blair Cowan.
Oh, good hands from Irish.
Oh, that's a superb tackle from Navidi.
I've been really impressed by Blues so far, playing some nice stuff. And, that's the problem with the Pro 14. when the internationals away, they're away for a long time, and you really see the difference. You see a lot of freak results, and especially with a COVID year as well, you see a lot of freak results.
But it's also a time as well, obviously, through COVID as well, a condensed season. Obviously, the Pro 14 became effectively a Pro 12 this year because the two South African sides didn't make it over. So it's all about taking your opportunities and winning the games that you can. And I think the Ospreys were superb at that this year. Oh, Navidi surely had turned that over. Oh, Seb Davis, one hand. What on earth is he doing? Oh, Josh Adams is flying up the outside. Come on.
What is Seb Davis doing there?
Do you know what, right? I absolutely hate it when I see a Blues player, well, any player, running up the middle of the pitch with the ball in one hand. You're just thinking, oh, no, what do you think you are? Like, that was superb. What a grubber.
What's a kick? Let's get some of your comments quickly. Jacob, you're asking where the stream is. Again, this is just a watch long, not a live stream. It's live on BT Sport. They are checking this on the TMO. Seb Davis made a lovely break, put the grubber through. I think they're checking to see if Josh Adams is offside, if he's ahead of Seb Davis.
Oh, you're having a laugh. Josh Adams is so far behind the ball. It's unreal. Nothing wrong with that for me.
I think they're checking a knock on.
Oh, in the original tackle, I think. Yeah. Nope, it's off an Irish hand. Nothing off the Blues. That's off Irish.
That's okay. I think that's fine.
That's perfectly good try for me.
Seb Davis running through like a Fijian with the ball in one hand.
Definitely taking a page of the Nick Williams skill book there. Ball in one hand.
There you are, trying.
Oh, look at him go. Fantastic. What a start for the Blues. 20 minutes in, 2 tries in. Whew.
And we said, didn't we, again, that first try is important, that the Blues settle, that they keep going now, and having that gap now, it is massive, 11-point gap. Halfway through the first half, Leone Nakarawa Seb Davis running through the middle there. I got a bit confused there.
Mate, definitely better than Nakarawa now. Have you seen the state?
He is. Have you seen the state?
It's like Nakarawa in 2017, 2018 versus pub version of Nakarawa.
I mean, it's mad that also signed him. I don't understand that signing.
I think you look at a lot of these teams now and they look to recruit players that are going to be there for the whole season. I was talking to you earlier on this afternoon, the likes of Ospreys looking at players like Havili. Yeah. These are players they're going to sign and they're going to be in camp all year. So, it's going to be a fantastic signing if the Ospreys get hold of him. But that's what teams look to do now. What players can we sign and keep hold of throughout their international period? Because, like you said, with the majority of the regions, as soon as international time comes around, we get hit so hard. Yeah. And you look at the Premiership, because they've got a far wider base to choose from. They maybe lose, if you look at the London Irish side, I don't think there's one current international there. If I'm looking through now, I can't see. No, I don't think there is. So it's difficult then, because you can't build on anything. You look at this Irish side; they'll have been playing together now all season. They'll know each other's inside and out, and they know their moves inside and out. Whereas the Blues, there's a lot of players that are coming back in. They will have been involved with Welsh camp, but obviously playing together. I think the last time Lilo and Halahola would have been playing together was the Scarlets game just before Christmas. So, but signs are good so far.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm very impressed by the Blues, and as well, what I'm really enjoying. We spoke about the backline, and that ability just to play what's in front of them is really important, I think, and playing some really nice stuff. Just seeing the try once again here.
Really, really well taken.
Seb Davis, one-handed.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Seb Davis is an odd one. Flirted with the Welsh squad a lot. What do you make of him?
I think he's another one of these players. If you look at the time that he was involved with the Welsh setup, he was in the squad at the time as a back row stroke number 8 option. And in the last few seasons, he's definitely become one of these players that's more flexible. He can play second row, he can play back row, he can play 8. But you mentioned in one of your video, I think it was in your tier list. He's one of these players, and because he plays in so many different positions, it is against him. He hasn't got that. I am a 5, I am a 6. So he could well put his hand up and be involved if there are summer tours going ahead this year. But again, it looks like some of the players that are coming up through some of the other sides. But like Ben Carter down at Dragons, the young lad, I keep forgetting his name, the young Osprey second row, who's filled in Alan Wynne-Jones's shoes whilst he's been away. But some really, really good players coming through. So they're really going to have to put their hands up if they want to be involved with the Welsh setup.
Yeah, there's a lot of good youngsters coming through. I mean, you look at Jack Morgan signing for the Ospreys. That's a fantastic signing for us. Both of them, as we've both spoken about already, he's played a little bit for Wales, has shown some really good glimpses as well. There's a lot of good young players coming through. I think Ben Thomas, he can play fly half or centre. I've been very impressed by him whenever he's played this season as well for the Blues. So I think the Blues, I think all the regions have a lot of good youngsters coming through. And it was interesting. I listened to an interview Wayne Pivac did this week, and he was speaking about the importance of the regions and the Welsh Rugby Union working together. And that is something that we've definitely seen a lot more of now, that Pivac is regularly sitting down with the region saying, okay, this is what we're working with them in camp. This is what they need to work on within the regions. And I think having that communication is only going to benefit the squad, and is only going to benefit Welsh rugby as well. And seeing all these players coming back, we've got Priestley, we got Will Rowlands coming back, we got Thomas Francis coming back to Wales over the summer, which is only going to benefit the regions really, and hopefully get more people into the stadiums. But it's always been an issue here in Wales, it's getting people back in stadiums for the region. So hopefully we'll start to see more people come in to see the regions play. 15 minutes to go in the first half here. The Blues are 14-3 up. If you're watching, you have not yet liked the stream, make sure to do so, and subscribe if you are new.
Yeah, like thinking about back to what you said just there, I think, and we've talked about it briefly in other chats, where I think that you've got to start looking, and I think there are other national sides that will want to think this as well, is there's got to be, you look at the amount of Irish players that could be in that Irish squad, not able to. Same with the Welsh, same with the Scottish in some respects. They have to start thinking about bringing back the second teams for these, and there was an interesting article I read it a few months back now, but looking at saying, for example, if you make the second tier of international tournament in Europe, so obviously the tournament that Georgia, Spain, all those lot play in, if they were then introduced a second, like sort of like if the Saxons came back and the Wales A squad came back, it'd be an opportunity to put those teams in there, because then obviously they are considered a slightly weaker side, but it only develops the strength of your national side. And I really like the thought of it. But yeah, it's an odd one at the minute, because there's so many players that are, like you said, like Dylan Lewis today, he was heavily involved at the end of the Gatland era. But since Pivac's been involved, obviously he's had a couple of injuries. He just hasn't been able to have a sniff.
No, it's like players such as Owen Watkin, for me, is a brilliant centre. Now North is being played at centre, which to me is an odd decision, but I think Watkin's been brilliant for Ospreys this season, played amazing against Leinster as we won that game. But it's good to have this amount of depth. I mean, for a country so small, 3 and a bit million people, to be producing that many quality players in so many different positions, and to have the luxury of them players.
The Blues are playing lovely stuff. What
we held like I'm injured here.
Oh dear. But
which would
yeah,
be a bit
sorry to interrupt you, but I think you're bang on. I think we are a small country, and I think if you look at what other teams, other nations think of us, I think we've always punched above our weight.
Oh yeah.
I think if you look at the systems that we've got in place in Wales, we've got good academy structures in place. But I've understood the situation. Like for example, the Dragons, I came through a section of the Dragons Academy system, and you can see why it works. And for the Dragons, I think if you look at all the regions, it's probably one of the systems that's working the most in terms of players that make it through the academy and into the first team. But like you said, the opportunities for these players to then go that next level, you know, because the likes of, let's say, Dylan Lewis, Domachowski is a really good one. You know, there was talks of him potentially going on the summer tour if there was one. But at the moment, he's just not going to get anywhere near that first side because he's just not getting that experience. But yeah, I think, well, it's definitely something that they need to look at in the future. I don't think it'll be anything that happens, obviously, post-COVID. It won't be anything they'll jump straight back into. But has he got this? Yes. So
I've got it. Blues extend their lead 17 points to 3. So that's a very healthy lead.
What time are you on, mate? I'm just ticking over the 28 minutes.
Yeah, same for me as well.
I've caught up then. Happy days.
There we go. Perfect.
No more trying to hold your excitement when you see another outstanding Blues try. You can just let it roll now.
An interesting restart from the Blues there.
See, and that's what I mean. You know, you just want to exit cleanly. That's crossing. Yeah. There's an interesting player.
I think Lilo's turned that over. Illegally or legally? Legally. Brilliant.
Definitely. That was superb. It was a player that I was reading about at Bonn. They were saying they were really looking forward to the battle between Navidi and Blake Cowan. Because Blake Cowan, you know, he picked up quite a few Scottish caps, and he was really, really highly regarded for a number of years. But all of a sudden, seems to be completely out of the picture. But from what I've read, he's done really, really well this season with London Irish. Yeah,
there's been a lot of players I feel in this Irish squad who they're like nearly men, or they're the forgotten men. They're rebuilding their careers. People like Paddy Jackson, obviously a lot of controversy about him. We won't get into that. But you cannot deny how good he's been on the pitch. He's been brilliant for them. This game, he's been very, very quiet, and the Blues have played very well and taken their opportunities really well. But throughout the course of the season, he's been one of the form 10s in the Premiership. He's been so good. There's a comment here, Ben, that I'd like to get your thoughts on then. Just watched Kyle's video he did with him and picked your Lions 15. Just want to know what Ben's Lions 15 is. Who would be your Lions 15? Let's go from 15 through the backs first. Who would be at fullback for you? Should only be one man.
Stuart Hogg has to start at 15 for me. I think he's been. If you look at a lot of the players that are playing 15 for the national sides at the moment, you know, Liam Williams, superb, and I think he will be involved to an extent. But I think if you look at the Six Nations Stuart Hogg has just had, you have to go with Hogg there. So my back three, I'd probably go Hogg at fullback. I'd like to see Duhan van der Merwe and Josh Adams on the wings. I think Louis Samet will be involved, but I think it's good to have a nice bit of balance on your wings. And Van der Merwe has proven, you know, top try scorer in the Six Nations this year. He definitely deserves his place. I think centre is the one place where, not that they could struggle.
Whoa.
That's a clean through.
Yeah. London Irish here with a try. It's Loader who's crossed. He's threatened throughout the game. Poor defense from the Blues, really, but third try for him in 6 games in the European Challenge Cup. Let's have a look back at this. Paddy Jackson with the inside ball there.
Oh, there's just no cover defense there whatsoever.
No, Dacey against a winger, he's not going to win that, is he?
No. But yeah, centre is for me where the Lions at the moment potentially struggle. I think the likelihood is that you'll see. I think Henshaw's going to be there, and although I don't think he deserves it, I do think Farrell will play 12. I really hope not. I hope not. I think he hasn't deserved his place whatsoever. But I just think you know, Gatland. You look back to the 2013 tour, the 2017 tour. He likes to play a dual playmaker system, and I struggle to see him. Like, for example, he always seems to plug for Sexton at 10. I don't know. I think my ideal centre partnership, I would love to see George North probably paired up with I quite like the look of Hugh Jones. See, I know I've always put my neck out for Hugh Jones. I think Hugh Jones is a really, really exciting player. Extremely underused by Scotland, but again, another player that injury has plagued him throughout. 9
it's
and 10.
interesting with Hugh Jones. Sorry to go across you there. With Hugh
No.
Jones, an interesting one. He's been played at fullback a lot this season, and tonight Glasgow playing against Montpellier. We are going to do a watch on for the Gloucester against La Rochelle. We'll keep an eye on that one. Hugh Jones has been played at fullback once again for Glasgow tonight in a round of 16 European match. It doesn't make any sense to me when he's been amazing. He's come off the bench against Ireland for Scotland and played against Italy and was so good. Yes, Italy are crap. We know that. But they are. They are. Going forward, they show glimpses. Defensively, they are. It's not international level. It's not Pro 14 level. It's just not at that level. I don't know. It's really bad. The Dragons would beat it in a minute. They would.
I got to agree with you. I think they started the Six Nations with so much promise, and then towards the end, it really dropped off for them, and they just seem to lose their way. You're looking at, like, everybody was talking about Garbisi at the start of the tournament, and rightly so. He played really, really well. But I think, not that it got to his head, but it was almost that it was a bit too much pressure was placed on him by the Italian setup. Oh, this is another good attack here from Irish. Blues have really got to tidy up that ball in midfield.
You want to go in half-time. Navidi's over. Both of them was nearly over the ball there. I mean, you want to go in leading at half-time. You don't want to have let Irish back into this one too much.
This speed of ruck ball that they're getting is superb. And they're going to put us in behind you, 5 meters out. Yeah, see, that's the threat you've got. And that's something that the Premiership sides have that the Pro 14 sides, well, especially the regions, don't have, is that, you look at that speed of ruck ball, the second maximum that ball is there at the base, and it's on a plate for Paddy Jackson to start moving. Looking at that Brophy Clues or whatever it is, they look like they're using him a lot as a second playmaker. He's put a nice few kicks in behind now and challenged that Blues backline. But there he is, making another carry in Navidi. The man's stats are ridiculous. The amount of work he gets.
He's so good.
And the frustrating thing is, for a Welsh fan, is that this isn't something that's happened over the last few years. He's been fantastic for years and years and years now.
Yeah.
We only broke into the side back end of 2018. I know he played a couple of tests, played against the All Blacks and played absolutely superbly back then. And since then, he's been one of those players that, without Wales, almost seem like they're missing something. So he's definitely a fantastic player to keep hold of, especially going into what potentially could be his latter stages of his career, because what people have got to realise, he's been on the block for a number of years now.
Yeah. I think Navidi used to be underrated, but now I think people are really beginning to realise just how important he is to Wales and to the Blues. And I think we missed him against the Scotland game, I think it was. I don't think he played in that one, and we really missed him in that. I'm not sure what that's for. A knock-on, is it?
I don't think he knocked that on. I think he picked it up before it hit the floor.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, he's caught that. That's a harsh call. Will he reverse it? Yeah,
was he giving it?
He's giving the ball back to Irish. I think he gave it originally as a knock-on, but when he's looked back at the review, it's quite clearly been collected. But yeah, for me, my Lions 15, Navidi starts. I think if you look at the tenacity that the South Africans are going to bring, you look at that back row setup they've got. I don't know whether Dutoy will play, but you've got Dutoy, you've got Vermeulen. These guys, they're going to be abrasive, and you need. Yeah. I know you don't want to match like for like, but you need to have somebody in there or some players in there that are going to match up against them. And I think one of those players you absolutely have to have in there. But I think 9 and 10 is an interesting one, because I know there's a lot of people that have been saying, well, when you talk about Lions bolters, for me this year, the Lions bolter is going to come at 9 or 10, because there was talks that if you take one from the Premiership and one from the Pro 14, Danny Kay has had an absolute stormer of a season for Quins and has been playing really, really well. Not even being considered at national level at the moment, but doing a really, really good job. But for me, I would love to see John Cooney go on the Lions tour. I would love to see what he could do, especially in the build-up games, because obviously now we know we're getting as close to a normal Lions tour as we could get.
Yeah.
I think having John Cooney in there, especially to play a couple of midweek games, just to see what he could do. He really could put his hand up and play in that test side. But 10, it pains me to say it, but it's likely to be Sexton. I don't like Sexton.
Really? I think Sexton's a brilliant campaign.
I think he's, if you put him in the Irish setup and the way the Irish play, I think he has had a really good season. But for me, if you want to, this guy Loader is having an absolute field day at the moment. He's in so much space. Yeah, I just don't like Sexton. I just don't like the way he plays. I think he plays very one-dimensionally. If the loop around the back doesn't work, then he goes to the high kick, and it's boring to watch. I would like to see him choose a more exciting 10, but then you say, well, where is your exciting 10? And for me,
I think obviously you've got Finn Russell, haven't you? But for me, Finn Russell is, I don't know, there's moments in games where you're like, what are you doing, mate? Just do the simple thing. I think having a Russell to come off the bench, I don't think Bigger starts.
No.
Paddy Jackson, I think, is going to go for the posts here with a minute and a half. Yes, he is. A minute and a half left on the clock. Before we come back to the line squad, frustrating as a Blues fan right now because you were 17-3 up.
The biggest concern is that the outside backs for London Irish are having an absolute field day. Loader for me so far, I would love to see his stats because he must have made upwards of 100 meters in this game so far. Yeah. He is opening the Blues up, and Lilo and Halaholo have got to get so much tighter in defence because they're really, really struggling. And as the game goes on, and obviously covering defences get more and more tired. Well, I say covering defences. There wasn't any when Thingy made a break just now. So it does frighten me really. But the Blues, they've just got to, the fact of the matter is that as long as they don't do anything stupid in the last 30 seconds now, just keep Irish down in their own 22. Maybe the potential for one last attack if Jackson gets a shift on with his penalty. But there may be a chance for one more phase. But they're going to go in at halftime in the lead, and for me, deservedly so. They've just got to have a word with each other and say, look, we can win this game. We're doing enough to win this game. We just got to tighten up defensively. I think we're overcommitting to the ruck. I mean, looking at the last ruck just now, Seb Davis comes through and Corey Hill. If the ball, for me, against these Premiership sides, if the ball isn't winnable straight away, just fan out and defend because the Premiership sides love to play quickly.
Yeah, just leave it. I mean, I don't know. I agree with you. I think the Blues are over-competing and there's just gaps all over the pitch for them after that. So I think you can be encouraged as a Blues fan. Irish have kicked this one off. It is half-time. Cardiff Blues leading this one by 17 points to 13. Stephen Somerville has said, breaking news, Leinster through to the next round is too long, cannot fulfil the fixture, not having enough squad in their play. I'll just double-check that. I obviously believe you, but just double-check. That has been confirmed.
If it is, personally, it was a simple decision to make. I'm not going to go into my thoughts on what happened with the French setup because I think that the French side got away with absolute murder in terms of they didn't have to pay any sacrifice to the fact the Scotland game had to be called off. But this is the second time in this tournament Toulon now have breached COVID regs and cost sides games. So for me, it has to be the right decision.
Yeah. Yes, it has been confirmed. Toulon cannot fulfil the fixture. The committee decided under the terms of the EPCR's COVID-19 protocol that Leinster will progress to the Heineken Champions Cup quarterfinals on the weekend of the 9th, 10th and the 11th of April. So it has been confirmed Leinster are through. It is half-time down at the Brentford Community Stadium. Cardiff Blues are leading this one by 17 points to 13. We're absolutely flying at one point. 17 points to 3 up. Quickly, just before we go for a break, Ben, summarise that first half from a Blues fans' perspective. How are you feeling?
Good. Yeah, solid first 20 minutes. Showed a lot of promise. I know that the tries came from not so much mistakes. The second try came from a mistake, but the first try well worked. Second 20, we let London Irish back into it a little bit. I just think if we tighten up in defence, pick our moments to attack, I think the game is there to win.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. We're going to take a quick break, folks. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Leave a like on the stream. Continue the conversation in the chat. Get any questions you got for myself or Ben in the chat, and we'll be back in a second. Don't go anywhere. So there we go. It is half-time down at the Brentford Community Stadium. The Blues are leading 17 points to 13. What a start for them, going up to 17 points to 3. But London Irish coming back into this one. If you're watching, as I said, it is half-time. This is simply a watch-along. We don't show the actual game. It is just a watch-along. So if you want to watch the actual game, it's on BT Sport 3 live now. Half-time in this one. Make sure you're subscribed and that you've liked the stream as well. Keep the conversation going on in the chat. Let's welcome our Blues fan. I'm not actually a Blues fan. I've been pressured into wearing this one. I didn't have much choice. So I didn't have any choice to wear this. I've been forced into wearing a Blues top. As an Ospreys fan, I feel a bit ill. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not wearing the best shirt of any of the Welsh regions. But tomorrow, the Ospreys will have their moment to book their place in the quarterfinals. It is Ben Ford joins me once again. Ben, first half, decent for you, but I'm sure you want to tell me something about the Blues shirt. What?
I'm just going to address the fact that you asked me for my Blues fan discount for that top, mate. You know, you were like, Ben, I love this top. I really need to buy it. Can you give me a discount code, please? Because with the money that I've saved, I can get Lloyd Williams printed on the back. That's exactly the words you said to me.
I'm going to get Scarlet's one with Kieran Hardy on the back as well.
Mate, don't do that. That's my Secret Santa present to you, this shirt.
Lloyd Williams. Well, he's on the bench today. But the Blues, as we said, leading this one 17 points to 3. First 20 minutes. Wow. How good was your back line? I'm so impressive.
Mate, I think that you've got to talk. I was just saying to my brother now, we've just watched the highlights back, and he said, Seb Davis, cheeky thing, like carrying the ball like that down the middle of the pitch. Who do you think
Fijian. No. Fijian coming out in him, I think, there.
Oh, mate, that's ultimate Blues, that is. That is taking your chances. We saw it when we did the watch-along together, when we watched the Edinburgh game. And the Blues are really good at just taking the chances. And definitely it was a superb effort in the first half. Little few errors, which they'll want to try and eradicate as the game goes on. You know, Ben Loader, getting a lot of space to attack. But for me, the Blues have got every chance to win this game now against decent opposition, and it'll do them really well for the next round. You know, if they make it through this game, coming up against coming up against Bath.
Yeah.
And I think that's a game they can target to win. You know, be an interesting one if Priestland's back fit, former club against future club.
Yeah.
So,
I think as well, Zeb has shown you can easily get at Bath, you can get at them, and you can beat them. We did speak about Danny Loader, and let's have a look at some stats from the first half, because they are quite interesting to read for sure. Let me share the screen there. So it's been quite equal throughout the game. 50-50 possession, territory 52 to 48%, meters gained 209 to 203. We'll look at Loader's meters gained in just a few seconds. 2 tries to the Blues compared to the 1 of London Irish. 13 defenders beaten to 7 of the Blues. 77-62 passives. The Blues very, very good at the breakdown. 8 turnovers they've got at the breakdown there. Turnovers conceded, so it's looked pretty good. Blues missing 13 tackles, not the greatest for them in this one. But let's have a look at some of the individual performances. As you said, Ben Loader, sorry, not Danny Loader, Ben Loader, 111 meters made from 8 carries. So he's had a big, big impact in this one. If you compare that to Josh Adams, who's had a 1 meter made, tells you a lot of what's gone on in this one, having a lot of space. We did speak about it in that first half. We did say that maybe the Blues need to consider not committing so much to the breakdown so they can have their defence. Do you think Dai Young will be saying something similar to them?
Oops.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I know. It was ever so insightful that I decided to see if you could lip read it. No, Dai Young, he is very much defence orientated. You know, big bloke like himself. He's not worried about the line breaks. You know, the backs coach can take care of that. But he'll be saying, you know, that missed tackle number needs to come down. And if we've got any chance of winning this game, it has to come down massively. But the turnover number is good. Meters made are good. We're only a few meters behind, even considering the space that they've been allowed. But yeah, definitely defense second half needs to tighten up, especially around the fringes. Because when Loader made that break for his try, there was no cover defense whatsoever. I don't know what happened there, whether it was a miscommunication or something, but it really, really was disappointing. But we're all on for a good second half. It'll be tight. We said that it was going to be a handful of points in it, but yeah, it's really going to be tight coming towards the end.
Yeah, I agree. Luke Conway asked when on Leinster that game has been cancelled due to a player in the Toulon setup testing positive for COVID, so that has been cancelled. Leinster have been given a bye through to the quarter-finals. Quickly, before we get on to the second half, myself and Ben will be hosting our monthly Welsh Rugby Roundup show on Monday evening on the 3BOD Rugby Group Facebook page. I'll drop a link to that in the chat in just a second. We are going to be looking back at the action from the weekend in Europe for the 4 Welsh regions. So if you're a Welsh regional fan or you're just a fan of rugby, you're going to want to join us on that one. But we're also going to be chatting about a lot of other things. The Welsh Premiership, what's happened with that across the season. We did a really good interview with Warren Abrahams recently, so I'll share a clip from that as well. But 8:30 will be going live on the Facebook page, so I'll drop a link in the chat now for people to go and give it a like and give it a follow, and you'll be notified when we go live on that. So that's in the chat now, so do hit the like on that, hit a follow button, and it'll be our show together on looking back hopefully at the 4 Welsh regions having progress, because 3 of them, as we've said, we think at the minute are confirmed to be in bring back Nick Williams. I just seen
that. Just to give you a bit of background on that, Matthew Coles is my brother, and for him, Nick Williams leaving the Blues was probably worse than Mufasa dying in Lion King. So it's definitely a touchy subject. Whenever we see the games and you see on like Instagram that the Blues watch along is being done by like Nick Williams and something, just a tear appears in the corner of his eye. Bless him.
Yeah. Almost as heartbreaking as Jared Evans signing for the Ospreys.
Mate, that's not even funny anymore, because we all know that he's not going, because he quite literally sat there with Toby Booth and he said, "Mate, your team smells like glue. We don't want to play for you."
Wow.
Start to go fund me, bring Nick back. Mate, the way that things are going at the minute, did he start an OnlyFans for him?
He was a heck of a player for you. Absolute massive ball carrier. But Navidi's looked pretty good. We've just kicked off for the second half here, by the way. So I will update the scoreboard there. But it is just the start of the second half. But do you think you are missing a big ball carrier like Nick Williams? Do you think that's someone that you should look to get in the summer?
This is something we talked about on a show back in January. But if you look at the other regions, that they've all got these big ball carrying number 8s that are going to take them across the game line, like Nick did for us for a few seasons while he was with us. But I think, like, we've got Josh Turnbull at 8 today. I think, although he does a job there, I don't think he is naturally an 8. And I think that sometimes that does show. If you look at, like, for example, London Irish today, when they got Tuasui at 8, he will pick and carry hard, but he's also a turnover threat. He's a great all-rounded player. So, yeah, we're definitely missing a player. You never find another Nick Williams, but we're definitely missing a player that can get the turnovers, carry hard. That's a good bit of defence from the Blues there. Again, there was a lot of space opening up for London Irish out wide. I don't know whether that's a ploy from the Blues to defend tight and try and force opportunities on the outside, but I really don't get that.
No. But
I don't know why they're showing this try again from the first half.
There's been a few London Irish fans on Twitter saying a few things potentially.
What exactly is it that they're looking for? Because
I have no idea. I think it's a good try. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great try.
The Turnbull's latched on and carried through, but maybe you might look at the contact. There's a slight graze of the elbow to the face, but he's latched onto that player. Where that player's head then ends up, it's not elbow to face. It's more face to elbow. It's going to end up like football before long. Ball to hand or handball.
Yeah, very much so.
Scrum maybe been here or there so far this game. It's been very sort of, I don't know whether both sides are quite tentative because they know that it's not their strongest asset, but yeah, definitely they're quite nervy.
I think the next score in this game is really, really important. I think halftime came at a good time for the Blues, you'd have to say, because Irish were really beginning to push, were beginning to thrive and play some really nice stuff. Jared Evans calls for the mark there. If you're watching, you're subscribed, make sure you've hit the subscribe button and leave a like on the stream. The Blues leading 17 points to 13. How long do you think it is before you start looking towards the bench? When do you think that will become an option?
I think it is a strong bench. I think we'll see Rhys Carey probably around the 50-minute mark. He'll come on and he'll make some good carries. But that's superb there from the Blues. Just getting in there long enough. Sorry.
I think it is.
Sorry to interrupt myself. but yeah, I think I'm looking forward to seeing Rhys Carey come on. Looking forward to see Ollie Robinson coming on, because in a game where forwards start to tire and it takes them a little bit longer to hit those rucks, Ollie Robinson will definitely jump in and snap up a lot of that loose ball. But in terms of the back line, I'd love to see Ben Thomas come on at some point. I don't know where he would come on, whether he comes on at 10 or whether he comes on at 12. But yeah,
Lloyd Williams come on and get a try in the last minute.
Mate, you were the Lloyd Williams fan club. I'll leave you to decide whether Lloyd Williams needs to come on now or a little bit later on. But no, Lloyd, it's a funny one with Lloyd.
He's a professional, isn't he? He's a professional. Yeah. That's what he is, isn't he?
And it's one of those. He's one of those players where when you watch him, he's very much one of those players that it's almost like he's going through a checklist. He's going right. Ball is secured in 22. Box kick to touch. Then in attacking play, it's almost like right, ruck set up, pod out to the left, pod out to the right. He's very methodical in the way that he plays. Whereas Thomas Williams is a lot more look up and play what's in front of you. We saw in the first half he took a quick tap on one of the penalties very, very early on. So it's an odd one. It all depends. I think Lloyd Williams comes on to close the game out. Yeah. Thomas Williams, as great as he is, I think it'll get to a point where this game is going to be maybe a score or two in it. Yeah. And you're going to look then to think, right, we need to play territorially. I was just looking at him as he ran past screen there. Perhaps you see Ben Thomas come on at 15 instead of Matthew Morgan. I know it's an option the Blues have looked at some points in the season. But yeah, I think it's all looking good for the Blues at the moment. They've just got to make sure that this London Irish backline. I don't think the Packers threatened the Blues in the way that they thought they might. But I think that definitely the London Irish backline, the Blues will want to try and keep them as quiet as possible. But not only that, try and throw a few problems of their own. I think Lilo and Halaholo, they've had moments in the first half, but they've looked quite quiet as well. So it'd be good to see if they can get into the game a lot more in the second half, or whether the Blues try and keep it tight and exploit that power parity they've got up front.
Yeah, very much so. I think the Blues bench is quite strong. Good driving maul here from the Blues into the 22.
It's good positioning, but it's spun around, which is the it's just looking a little bit like they need to get it out. Good carry from Turnbull Lake, holds it up well. It's like a good centre forward in football. You can always guarantee Turnbull to carry the ball and just hold it up for long enough to get men around him.
I think the important thing for Blues is just go through the phases, don't force anything. Yeah, because I think the Blues have really had the favour of the ref a little bit more than the Irish, maybe a little bit more.
I think it's been one of those games where the decisions that have been given have been very clean cut. I don't think there's been any contentious decisions made. And I certainly don't think that there's been anything that you could say the Blues didn't deserve in that first half. But yeah, we'll see what happens from this. They seem to be losing a bit of ground here, so they're really not looking at how they're going to deal with this year. Whether they try a little cheeky chip over the top, that's a nice little bit of space there.
Need some support on the breakdown here.
He's lucky. This is I thought that was going to be an Irish penalty there.
Yeah, very close.
There's another player that's been quite quiet this game, Hallam Amos. Usually he comes off his window.
Very, very quiet, hasn't he? Very quiet game.
I love the way when Jared Evans carries the ball, he squares his shoulders up to the defence and he really makes them make a decision on him quickly. You know, they can't leave him for too long or he's gone. They've lost a lot of ground here. You know, we've lost nearly 20 metres here. I think we've got to start.
Space that wide on. It's forced a little bit too much.
And that we talked about this when we watched the last Blues game. You know, when you've got forwards out in the back line who are trying to handle and put backs away in space, we really have to execute that. You know, James Botham is more than comfortable to be out on the wing, but you don't want Corey Hill to be the person giving that pass.
No, not at all. Gregor points out that there'll be a watch-along for Gloucester versus La Rochelle. Yes, later on, so we're going live about 7:45 for that one. Kick-off at 8 o'clock, Gloucester against La Rochelle. The first Champions Cup game of the weekend kicking off. And we'll also be keeping an eye out on Montpellier against Glasgow as well. That one also kicks off at 8 o'clock this evening. But I think, next score in this one's really, really important for the Blues. Are they checking something here?
Oh,
they're checking that on Dylan Lewis.
That's another one there.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
But he's not dropping at all. He's maybe braced his legs slightly, but he's not dropping at all. No. And I think you're only giving the referee an option to give you a card in that situation. Yeah. For me, it's harsh if he gets anything more than head. It's head to head. It does make contact with the head, but you can see that the drop is in the knees before he makes contact. So he has tried to alter his height of the tackle, but is it enough though? He's checking. I
think this is really harsh if it's given as a yellow.
I've got to be honest, mate. I think this is going to be red. If you look at the point that they freeze it here and the initial contact is on the head, I'm. This is the thing that's frustrating me because even though I'm a Blues fan,
it's so accidental, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing for me as a Blues fan is, you know, you are looking. You know, let's have a look at it really slowed down. But where is that first point of contact? It is shoulder to head. He's gone there, mate. And I think, especially in the way in which the game is going at the minute, the fact that we're thinking that is poor. I think, yes, we've got to, player safety, and we've talked a lot on the Welsh Rugby Roundup show about player safety taking the forefront. But in that situation they're so close to each other. What is he supposed to do? Just move out of the way and let him through? It's going to be a red. There's no two ways about this.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, massive moment in the game, this here.
Fair play. What is it with Welsh regions, and especially Welsh props, and being absolutely smashed with the headshots?
Something wrong with the face, isn't there, clearly? Yeah. Wyn Jones must have and Thomas Francis, now Dylan Lewis.
Honest. The front row union, they'll have to have a board meeting and we'll have to discuss what's happening here.
They're still checking this. I've been checking this for 4 minutes.
I think it's because it is borderline. As a fan,
it's going to be a card.
As a fan of the game, I want to see it be yellow, but I think the fact they've looked at it for as long as they have, I think it's going to be red.
Here we go. What colour is it?
Can't see just yet.
Doesn't sound good.
This referee's been a real tart. He's just keeping it. Oh, it is a red, is it? I just saw Gregor's comment there. Oh, it is red. I can see you.
Yeah.
See. Yeah.
It's red.
He's led with the shoulder. He's made contact with the head. But you've got to say that is.
It's so frustrating because it's so accidental. I've no doubt that he's not tried to do that. He's 100% not tried to do that. But he's made contact with the head, and all players know it now. I think it's borderline.
I think if you speak to the rugby thoroughbreds out there and the people who watch this rugby week in, week out, like yourself and me in this instance, we know full well that contact that's made there's only one result coming out of it. Both of us agree that it's not the way that the game should be going, because in this situation there's literally nothing he can do.
No.
But, like you said, player safety has to come first, but surely there are other ways that we can look at it.
Yeah, there's got to be another way. I mean, massive opportunity this for the Blues now.
Well, this is where it becomes interesting, because what the London Irish do, they're going to have to bring a front rower on, but what are they going to do? Are they going to bring on, are they going to take a back rower off and sacrifice some parity up front, or are they going to take one of their back line off, which for me is probably the place that they could win this game? I was talking to a friend of mine a few days ago, and he was saying that in terms of training now and the way the team's set up to train, a lot of emphasis that they put, especially when they do gameplay, they play with 15 men against 13, and they play against 14 men, because I think we saw Wales in the first game of the Six Nations, although Omani was sent off quite early on, they really struggled to find where those opportunities were to exploit the red card, and I think teams really have to watch out for that now. It's a nice little, he's one arm off again.
Has Seb Davis turned Fijian? I've no idea what's going on with this guy.
Will somebody have a whisper in Seb Davis's ear and tell him that he isn't Fijian and he's not playing sevens? Right?
Is that on? It is not done again. But
sorry, mate. I'm going to have to jump out to this a second, because I think I turned on the sevens for the second half.
I mean, Seb Davis has just been like throwing it about everywhere, catching ridiculous passes.
I think somebody said to him, just go out there and have a laugh, check it around, see what happens. But see that interplay up the touchline there, that's just what you want to see. Penalty. What's that for?
I think the Blues need to be careful here. They can't get overexcited. Although they're 7 points ahead, there's a red card. The next score, if you get another score, you're thinking then, all right, game is done. But
I think the next try will decide it. I think if the Blues get a try, I think London Irish are always going to end up chasing the game then. But I think if London Irish get the next try, they really start to think, even though we are a man down, we can club together, we can really work on this. But they just replay of it again now. I think Dylan Lewis hasn't, and I know this was another one about players buying it. Dylan Lewis hasn't bought that at all. He's literally gone into that contact as hard as he can. But
it's one of them. It's a rugby incident, isn't it? It's nothing malicious, nothing like that. But by the laws, it is a red.
Yeah.
So I mean, uphill challenge for London Irish now.
No, just sensible rugby here, boys. Oh, that's popped out.
Backward, says the ref. So ball to Paddy Jackson.
Oh, Lilo's been stood up an absolute. That is such poor defending from Lilo.
Wow, and London Irish have a try.
He really up then.
On holiday there.
He needs to wake up. He was exploited so much on that outside there. Ollie Hassel-Collins, I know he's had a great season in the Premiership.
That is so easy, though. You've got to say.
But what are they looking at now, though?
That was very, very easy for London Irish there. Are they looking at something?
Well, unless the referee has just done something that warrants him being on camera for longer than a few seconds, and the clock has stopped.
What are they looking at here?
They're looking to see if it's a knock forward from Irish. Have they dropped it?
Straight away said that it went backwards.
No,
backwards. That's fine.
Backwards, that's fine, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. He has lost control of it, but it's gone back. Oh, hang on. Whose hand does it go off? It's not enough for me. Not enough to say he's lost control.
I think that's going to count.
It's come off the chest anyway, if they are going to say anything. It comes off Creevy's chest. But that's a first phase try for London Irish. The Blues will be so frustrated with that.
Not seeing this as a knock-on, so the try is going to count. The try will be good for London Irish. I'm pretty sure this can be given.
Yeah.
Yeah, good try from London Irish, but really poor defence from the Blues there. 18 points to 20, half an hour to go in this one. London Irish down to a red card. Let's see some of the comments that you have put in. Sean Farrell on the red card says it's the way the game has gone. It'll take time before the players get used to it since the 2003 player court issue. And then Canna Quainen says, my thoughts on Munster versus Toulouse. Let's see this so-called game plan Stephen Larkin was talking about for a World Cup winner. I cannot believe how delusional it is because I didn't see one last weekend. I mean, it was a massive opportunity for Munster last weekend. It was a massive opportunity. Really good kick from Paddy Jackson, draws London Irish level. We did say the next score was really important in this one, and London Irish have got it. So 20 points apiece in this one. But you still back Blues to get the job done.
Yeah, I think they've got to use this man advantage now. But again, like we said, players have got to start managing it. That's a knock forward, surely. No? Okay.
Blues player, I think.
But yeah, the Blues have just got to settle now. They've got to realise that there is an extra man.
And that extra man will begin to tell more. He's so fortunate. Paddy Jackson. Matthew Morgan with a poor kick, really. But no, it's all about the Blues just managing this next, well, the half an hour, the rest of the game, using the bench wisely, playing the territorial game. And as you said, remembering that they've got the extra man. Lutube is back in the chat. Lutube, hope you are doing well. Gregor says Creevy is still good. Yes, very, very experienced. And yeah, Munster against Toulouse is going to be a massive game. I think that's going to be one of the games of the round. Unfortunately, I'm working while it's on, so I won't be able to catch it. But I wouldn't be watching anyway because I'll be watching Ospreys beating Newcastle, hopefully. So Sean O'Brien's getting ready to come on for London Irish. So a change there.
That's interesting. Well, obviously they don't need to bring a front rower on until there's a scrum. Launching some nice attacks or first phase.
Mm-hmm. They're obviously called London Irish because they love that whip around, don't they, with the scrum half and the 10.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Good defence from the Blues here. Tackle by Lilo, I think it was. They are breaking through quite easily here, considering they're a man down.
The experience of players like Phipps, Creevy, you know, they're all going to come to the floor now because you've got to realise you're a man down. There are going to be holes in your defence at points. Oh. I don't know, Lilo looks a bit sheepish, but something's happened.
Yeah, I think he's taken a knock, hasn't he?
Oh, that's a dreadful pass, mate. Is that a turn? Oh, that was close.
He's calling Hill over that. No, he's not.
Good defence from Jared. Oh, no, he's going to make that hit there.
Yeah. Jared's had a bit of a shaky game, I think. With a shaky one. Oh, is he over that? Yes, he is. Brilliant turnover. Is that Dylan Lewis?
And that's one thing he does bring you, is he has got that turnover ability.
I think mentally as well for the Blues, that's massive. And also for Irish, thinking we've gone through so many phases there. We're manned up and we haven't got anything from it. We've not got anything from it. What are they checking out? They check in Loader, something? What's he done?
Oh, an elbow to the face.
Was that on Thomas Williams?
No, it's on the neck.
Oh, I don't know. If he hits him in his neck directly, as Sam Warburton says, he could be in a lot of trouble here. We saw something similar with Finn Russell, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think that's a red. I think he's going to be gone here.
I think in this instance, this is what you call a misery compiler, because that's straight to the neck.
He's going, isn't he? This is going to be a red. This is going to be a red. I can't see any other outcome. It's exactly the same as Finn Russell's, maybe even worse.
Yeah.
That's going to be a red, isn't it?
The only thing is the circumstance that if you look at Thomas Williams, he is rising. He's on the balls of his feet when the contact is made. So that's the one thing he's got on his side, but I think it's red.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a red as well. Let's see what the referee's got to say on it. Yellow card. TMO's telling him to have another look.
TMO's obviously pushing towards red then.
I think this is a red. I think it's like the Finn Russell one. I think this is a red, personally. He's just going to be a yellow.
Yeah, it's only yellow.
I think he's lucky for that to be only a yellow, to be honest.
But big chance for the Blues now. 2-man advantage.
Yeah, they've got to make this count now. But yeah, I think he's quite lucky to only be on a yellow card there. Yeah, I think he's quite lucky, to be honest. But the Blues need to make this time count now.
Who's coming on? Looks like there's been a change or two made.
Number 23 for the Blues is on.
That's Harry's.
Yeah, Harry's is on. So who goes off?
I thought Lilo looked a bit sluggish, but I wouldn't bring Harry's on for Lilo.
Yeah, I think it's Lilo who has. Yeah, Lilo's gone off.
Is it a HA or is that a full replacement?
I think it's just a replacement.
I'll be honest, Lilo has looked really out of sorts today.
Defensively, he's looked a little bit all over the place.
Blues will be delighted to see Loader on the sidelines for 10 minutes.
I honestly think he's lucky that it's just a yellow.
Because especially if you look at the Finn Russell one from last week.
Yeah. He's made contact with the neck straight on, so for me. But opportunity for the Blues now. 13 men against 15. 25 minutes to go in this one. We've got to make it count.
I don't know. I think Josh Adams has come into the centre.
You may well have done, yeah. A little bit of space out wide. Josh Adams, good handoff.
With the Hadley Park arm gear today.
That's a name I haven't heard for a while. Hadley Parks.
Doing well out in Japan from what I read.
I mean, he is playing against basically kids, aren't they?
Yeah. I remember seeing Etzebeth when he went out there for a while. And the taller
picture of him with the Japanese guy is ridiculous.
He's just a freak of nature, though, isn't he, Etzebeth? Good phase play from the Blues here, though.
Very good. Someone is down for the Blues on the far left side. It might even be Adams who's down, I'm not sure. The Blues really need to make this extra man count here.
Oh.
Penalty to London Irish at the breakdown.
Sealing off.
Need to give away, to be honest there.
Oh dear.
I think it's Josh Adams. This doesn't look good, does it?
Looks like he's holding his ribs.
Yeah, potentially. Keep an eye on how he goes. YouTube asks thoughts on Edinburgh versus Racing. I mean, Edinburgh are going to get smashed, I think, to be honest. I did do a preview for both competitions. They're on the channel if people want to check them out. But yeah, I think Edinburgh are going to get smashed by 15 plus points, maybe even more. No Finn Russell, obviously. Did you hear the news today? One of our French friends who helps on some of the shows saying that Teddy Thomas was likely to be heading off to Japan in the summer. Thoughts on that? Surprised, or the guy's going after the paycheck?
He's one of those players that has always had the potential to be a world-class player, but he's always let himself down by blowing hot and cold. And I know somebody mentioned in the chat, similar with Finn Russell earlier on. He blows hot and cold massively, and it's one of those that if he does go to Japan, definitely chasing the paycheck. But I don't see how it benefits his career.
No, at all. It is just rumours at the minute. El Toto saying that's fake news. It's just rumours at the minute. It's not confirmed at all. But yeah, I think for Teddy Thomas, it's a weird one. He's always had this natural ability, hasn't he? But sometimes offensively, he's a little bit questionable, and it'll be interesting to see if he does do that. But for me, I don't really mind that much if players do end up going to Japan, because at the end of the day, you got to think about your career post rugby. If you're in your early 30s, and you get an offer and you're saying, right, you'll get $500,000 a year to play in Japan, you're not going to turn that down, are you? Because it's going to set you up for life. It's just silly not to turn it down.
I was reading Sam Warburton's book, and he always said that there's always a clear divide with players, and even though you see them give absolutely everything at club level, there's always that very clear divide. They're either there to pay the mortgage off and to make as much money as they need to have a comfortable life, and then you've got the rugby players that are there just because they love the game. And I think if Teddy Thomas does make that decision, even though he's probably considered as one of the key members of the French side at the minute, you can't blame a man chasing money.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it really, because especially if you're at the end of your career, I don't see anything wrong with it whatsoever. I don't see anything wrong with it.
But I think it's also an invaluable asset for clubs like these Japanese teams to have these sorts of players who have played at the top level for years and years and years. You cannot take that away from them. Opportunity for the Blues here. Yeah.
Oh, great try for the Blues. And
got to say, they had to come. Just over 20 minutes ago, that had to come.
Is he playing on the wing? Is that what's happened?
I think he is, and I think Josh Adams has moved into 13.
Yeah.
Which, an interesting call, especially in a Lions year.
Yeah. Because
I don't know if you saw it in the week about the fact that Gatland, usually would have had the option of taking a 45-man squad. It looks like he's going to have to take a 36-man squad.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to rely on players that can play multiple positions. And Josh Adams quite comfortable at fullback, showing now that he's been given an opportunity to play in the centre as well. It's definitely an interesting move.
Yeah, difficult conversion this one for Jared Evans on the right-hand side for a right footer.
Got to channel his inner Neil Jenkins here.
Dan Bigger against Leinster Pro 14 final.
Oh, just wide.
Just wide. Remains 25 points to 25 minutes left on the yellow card as well. 20 minutes and a bit left in this one. But important try that for the Blues. Again, you feel like the next score is really important if the Blues can capitalise again on the extra two men. Halaholo with a lovely floating pass. Quite similar to the pass he gave to Louis Rees-Summit in Scotland.
I said to Ben about that. He said, oh,
oh, you're back. You disappeared then.
All right.
Good exit from the Blues.
Yeah.
Got to spread this defence quicker. Oh, that's a superb turnover from Christian Dacey.
Great turnover now. Opportunity for the Blues with the extra man. Why would they go that way?
Try and stretch him, I think, now. Try and find those gaps in the middle of the pitch, because they are going to come.
And the thing is, again, we're 60 minutes into a round of 16 European game now. The intensity, the levels that these players have had to play at. Penalty to, is it the Blues or is it Irish? I think it's Irish here.
Irish. I think players gone off their feet there.
I mean, the Blues just letting them back into this game a lot. Oh, Josh Navidi might be in trouble there. Is that a neck roll?
They're looking at it.
I think he could be off again here. This could be a yellow. I mean, it's obvious as day that this is a neck roll, isn't it? It's a yellow card. Navidi's off.
Am I really far behind? Because it hasn't happened on my screen yet.
I just heard him speaking to Josh Turnbull, saying it's going to be a yellow, the ref, but nothing's happened. There's nothing happened.
No, very lucky there.
I mean, if you're Navidi, you keep very quiet.
Mm-hmm. Big 20 minutes for the Blues here.
I think that's very fortunate for Navidi and for the Blues. Irish going to put this down into the corner. Has it reached? It hasn't. So
That's a huge
massive mistake. I mean, I understand why he's gone for the corner there, but if he's going for it, he's got to get it. He's got to get it. Driving maul to London Irish. Penalty, they take it quick.
Is that a maul? Yes.
Yeah, it's good penalty to the Blues here. You just feel like things are beginning to swing for the Blues as well. Momentum now. James Botham at the bottom of the pile. Injury here to London Irish, I think.
Yeah. You've got to look in situations like this with London Irish. Seb Davis has got to be careful there, though.
Yeah.
Going in with a tuck down there. Just asking for trouble.
Oh, you see where his leg goes, London Irish right there.
Good to see Rhys Carey on for the Blues.
Yeah.
Big chance for him now.
"19 minutes to go in this one then. The Blues leading by 5 points, looking to book themselves in a quarter-final against Bath. Obviously, Zebra pushed them really, really close earlier on today, which was good to see. Got a quick question for you on Dwayne Peel. Dwayne Peel has been rumoured that he's not going to be joining the Blues at the end of the season. Obviously, the Scarlets sniffing about. What do you know about that? And do you think anything will change, or do you think he'll honour his contract?
It is a tricky one. I know that the terms of his contract were negotiated whilst Mulvihill was at the Blues. Obviously, since then, Dai Young has come in, and I know that Dai Young hasn't solidified his contract for next year yet. So I really don't know how it'll work. I don't think for Dwayne Peel's career as a coach, for him to go into a role as an assistant coach is probably not the right move for him. He probably would have wanted to go in and take over as probably a lead role. But for that to happen, obviously now, Dai Young is going to have to take on the director of rugby role, similar to what he did at Wasps, and have a coach that oversees everything underneath him. So you'd hope he'd honour his contract, but again, there's so much up in the air at the moment. It's all to do with what the coach wants, in terms of his development. I know that a member of the Blues staff left this week because their contract had run out. I wonder if that's anything to do with it, but we'll soon find out, I suppose.
Yeah, very much so. Let's hope he does head over to the Blues. Obviously, he's got a lot of history at the Scarlets, having been a player for them. So scrum here to the Blues then, just outside their 22.
Yeah, so they have taken off a back rower to bring it forward, a front row on. Blues, you've got to be careful in this scrum here.
It's a good scrum from London Irish. Hallam Amos will kick this one.
He shinned it, but it's worked out all right.
Yeah, he'll take it.
I think that's all it's going to be for the Blues now. Just manage it, play the game in the right areas of the pitch, and Amos is one of the best players in the Pro 14 at doing that. Kicking it when it's not on, and finding those spaces.
Yeah. Is there anyone else on the bench? If we quickly have a look, is there anyone else that you'd like to see come on for the Blues before the end of the game?
Ollie Robinson and Ben Thomas for me. I think Rory Thornton as well, to an extent. He'll bring some solidity in that line-out, and especially if London Irish do get a try and come back into it, he'll be an option to pinch. But well, it all depends how Dye sees this game going now. I think he'll feel quite comfortable at the minute, and he won't feel the need to empty his bench until the point where he feels that the game is starting to either slip away or London Irish are starting to come back into it.
Yeah.
But these first up tackles have got to be made now. Look at that; they've probably pushed Irish back about 10 meters just with that first play, but they are trying to force it a bit Irish now. I think they have to.
Yeah, Gloucester will have to start playing. Just 30 seconds left on that yellow card for them. They've coped pretty well, you'd have to say, during the 10 minutes off. Loader may be lucky to be coming back on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But this is where, that's a massive looping passage, just trying to find spaces, which, when you've got 13 men at the moment, you're never going to find space on the wide outside. And I'm sorry, I was just going to say, so many times they've entered these rucks and gone off their feet. It's shocking.
Yeah. Sean O'Brien penalised. So 15 minutes to go. The Blues hopefully going to book their place in the quarterfinals. Loader's getting ready to come back on for Irish.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find the way that the draws will work now.
Sort of looking and thinking where to go, like when he stepped on his dog's paw, or the dog went down, he was really screaming. But then when we come back, then we seen him open up out to the side. The dog was walking all right.
So
he was going, it's all right. You could see, he didn't know who he was, and the dog stopped and he didn't.
Change for London Irish. Thomas Williams is off, it seems, for the Blues as well.
Yeah, I did say that it looked like it'd be the point where Lloyd would come on and close the game out. So yeah, the winner of this game will go away to Bath.
It's not an easy game, but as we saw from today, you can get out this Bath side. Zebra showed that.
And not only that, this London Irish side showed that.
Yeah.
It is, Brandon, your favourite.
Up to a yellow. Am I seeing things funny? Oh no, just to a red. Still just on a red there. Yes, my favourite player, Lloyd Williams. All we need is Kieran Hardy to come on now. Sign for the Blues in the next 30 seconds, then play. That's all we need.
I reckon we should try and get Kieran Hardy and Lloyd Williams on the same show for the Welsh Rugby Roundup show and just clip what you said.
Just send it to them and be like, just play it just before. Nice to meet you. Big fans. Belcher's on for Dacey. Harry breaking through. Lloyd Williams. Is Lloyd Williams going to score? Oh my gosh, Lloyd Williams has scored.
It's almost as if he heard us talking about him.
Oh, Lloyd Williams has just scored for the Blues. That's give him a 10-point lead. Really good line there from Harry's. Ball inside Lloyd Williams. It's actually a really nice step from him. And he crosses over for the Blues.
Oh, that's a great
15 minutes to go. Maybe that's enough. Great try. And my favourite player. I've always said he's a good player. I've always said. 30 points to 20 up.
This conversion's important now.
Very important. Just give him a bit more breathing space. Nearly make it a 2-score game.
Yes.
Yes, he has. Cardiff Blues 32.
14 minutes to go.
Only
32 points to 20. Let's get through some of your comments. Thoughts on Glasgow against Montpellier? I think that's going to be a really good game. I back Montpellier because they're at home. I'll be honest, I've not watched them much. I've seen Glasgow this season, been a disappointing year for them. That is live at 8 o'clock as well. Sean O'Fowl asks, what's your thoughts on Munster signing another South African player from a Japanese side? I'm not sure who that is. You'll have to let me know who that was for Munster. So London Irish, realistically, are probably going to need at least 2 tries here, 2 converted tries to win the match.
Yeah, definitely.
Penalty to Irish, though, I think.
Corner now.
Yeah, they've got to go for the corner here. They've got to go for it. Still not won, though, for the Blues. If you were the man in charge, if you were Dai Young, what would be the message again across to the players now with, 12 minutes or so to go?
Yeah, just sensible rugby. No silly penalties. Just keep that defensive line flat. I would even go to the point now of where you put one man into every ruck, everybody else spreads the field, because mathematically you're still going to outnumber them in defence.
Yeah.
So that has to be the prerogative now.
So line out to La Rochelle, just inside the 22 of the Blues.
La Rochelle?
La Rochelle. London Irish. I'm thinking ahead to the next watch along.
Getting so excited, mate.
La Rochelle play some lovely rugby. I'm excited to see Louis Rees-Zammit play for Gloucester as well, because he's in the starting lineup for that one.
I'm excited to see how that Gloucester back 3 works, because obviously they've got that. Is it Carreras, the guy that's moved to fullback for this game?
Yeah.
And obviously 2 of the fastest wingers in Europe in Rees-Zammit and Johnny May starting on the same side. If you, like you said, if you're a tight 5 forward, you don't want to be chasing after that. Another penalty here. Just another minute killed.
Yeah. How the nerves?
We're all good, mate. We're all good. I think the alcohol might be kicking in by now.
So London Irish going to the corner here with just over 10 minutes to go.
Big 10 minutes. Big 10 minutes.
Yeah. Ball won by Irish. The driving maul comes forward. Not much, actually. Well defended from Blues so far.
Very, very good legal defending so far. Navidi's got to be careful by her, though.
Yeah, that's really good defending on the maul there.
You take that.
Jackson tackle, though.
Just fan. Oh, a slip.
Jackson, 3 metres short. Is Corey Hill ripped? What a rip. What a rip from Corey Hill, that is.
Get it gone, Lloyd. Get it gone.
What a rip that is. What a rip from Corey Hill.
Superb. Was it Corey Hill?
I think it
Corey
was.
Hill. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Corey Hill and Liam Belcher.
What was the song that was number 1 on your 10th birthday?
Here's an interesting one for you, mate. So, obviously, as you know, I say this with a heavy heart, but Alan Wynne-Jones coming towards the end of his career now. For you, does Corey Hill, is he guaranteed a second row berth for Wales, do you think?
Oh, I think it's interesting at the minute. I think him and Adam Beard are really batting for it. Personally, I would want Corey Hill to start alongside Alan Wynne. But once Alan Wynne has gone, obviously you've got Corey Hill, you've got Adam Beard, Seb Davis to an extent. You got a few others who could play that position. Jake Ball, of course, is going to Australia. I think it is Corey Hill's, and as well, he shows a lot of leadership qualities, doesn't he? Shows a lot of leadership qualities. So yeah, I think it's got to be Corey Hill. I don't really see who else goes in there, to be honest.
Well, it's interesting because I like the position that Rowlands is in at the moment. Obviously, coming back to Wales, he's in really good form at the minute. But I don't know. I don't think we've seen enough of him yet to say whether he deserves a starting jersey or not.
No, I don't think we have. And he's signing for the Dragons, which is, for the Dragons, it's a great signing for him. I'm not too sure, if I'm being totally honest. The Dragons are improving, yes, and they finished strongly to the season, but there are still moments in big games where they just completely collapse. And I'm not saying they give up, but is the ambition the same as it is from the other regions? And yes, they have the least amount of resources. Poor tackling. Really poor tackling.
That's shocking defence. Really bad.
I mean, we were thinking the game was potentially done for the Blues, but London Irish still in this one. Try for them. Poor defence from the Blues. I'm not sure who missed the tackle. Hepatima crosses for Irish. 25 points to 32.
Who's that? I think it's Halaholo.
I mean, he's got to make that hit.
No, it's the man inside him. I'm not sure who it was. It's one of the forwards by the looks of things.
Yeah, he's got to make that hit, hasn't he, really? London Irish still very much in this one. How are the nerves now?
Oh, no. Why do we do it to ourselves?
27 points to 32. Let's get to some of your comments. Let's see what you are saying. Ulster versus Quinn should be a great game. Yes, that is tomorrow night. I'll be doing a watch long for that one. Go live about 7:45. O'Gara's going really well with the French side against Gloucester. That'll be interesting. What do you think about Augustine Creevy? Absolute Argentinian legend. Very, very experienced at the top level. Great player. Augustine, I've just read your comment, mate. Stop being impatient. I've just read your comment.
Read me.
7 minutes to go then. 5 points in it. London Irish down to 14 men for a red card. Potentially should have been on another red. Very close. I mean, the Blues' discipline here just has to be perfect, doesn't it? Good take for Matthew Morgan.
Try and get a penalty out of Irish if you can. If not, just bump it up through the forwards and then pin it back down in the 22 where the chance comes.
Yeah, very much. That's what I would say.
And Corey Hill, he knows full well after that game in Paris, do not go in with the easy seal off.
Yeah.
Josh Adams is so elusive. Oh, see, there's the seal off.
Irish.
This is why I talk about playing in the wrong areas.
Yeah. I know we hate to see it, but the kicking game is, it's not something that we like to see all the time, but sometimes you just got to do that. You just got to kick it down into their 22, play the territorial game, and this is a brilliant opportunity now for Irish with just over 5 minutes to go. They'll go to the corner here. Paddy Jackson, will he reach touch?
Yeah, just outside 22. Yeah, Navidi's just gone hands straight to the floor there.
Yeah. Here we go, though. Oh, nearly stolen by the Blues. Here come Irish, though. Ball inside.
Oh, for goodness sake.
And it's a try for London Irish, and it's really, really poor defence from the Blues.
You've got to say the inside defence from the Blues today has been dreadful.
It's been shocking. It's been shocking. I mean, to think that your upper man.
I think that's their third try off first phase.
Yeah. It's a lovely inside ball.
Again, Jared Evans is caught in no man's land.
Yeah. And London Irish are level in this one, 32 points apiece. Not more to go at all. And their conversion, they'll likely get this to go ahead. It's not the easiest of conversions for Paddy Jackson, but you'd expect him to get it.
Yeah.
He could always slip and miss, though.
Potentially.
Yeah. She got it. Yeah, he's successful. London Irish take the lead here. 34-32. 3.5 minutes to go or so in this one. Blues just need a penalty to win it, or a drop goal.
Is that pass back inside?
Load of
Pass
kick.
back in. That's pass back in. I knew it was.
There we go. Big opportunity for the Blues here. Out on the full. It's a massive opportunity for the Blues. You know you just need a penalty. So as long as your discipline's okay, you just got to hope that London Irish make a mistake.
They know now. This is the cup rugby they need. This is patient rugby now. Go through the phases. Like you said, a penalty's enough.
Yeah.
If they can get a try, even better. But a penalty is enough here. So they just got to try and push for that. Secured line-up ball. Oh, they go straight for off the top.
A drop goal will do it as well.
Oh, there it is. Jackson's in the way.
Advantage to the Blues. Massive opportunity here with 2.5 minutes to go. 34-32 in favour of London Irish. It's gone back to Jared Evans. Jared Evans going for the drop goal. Has he got it? He's got it. The Blues take the lead. 35 points to 34. Oh, the nerves. The nerves. Jared Evans gives the Blues the lead. 35-34. What a game it's been. 2 minutes on the clock. It wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but who cares? Good clearance here. You need a good clearance here.
Yeah, good exit.
Matthew Morgan, good take.
Don't mess about, Joe Lloyd.
You're going to hold on to it for 2 minutes? Is that what you're going to try and do? I can't see you trying to do that.
Especially on the 22, mate.
No. Then it's just going to be kicked.
They're not going to kick this.
Lodo's been dangerous all game. Tackled, though, by Halaholo. Paddy Jackson on the wide. He's got to make that hit. Oh, my gosh. He's broken straight through.
Josh Adams, what a hit.
Oh, this doesn't look good for Blues. This really doesn't look good. Less than a minute on the clock here.
They've scored.
Oh, my gosh. London Irish have scored. $39 points to 35. Curtis Rona crossing over.
And he'll take the full minute here as well.
And it looks as if London Irish are going to win this one. I mean, the defence at some points, you've got to say, has been awful.
Woeful, mate. Really, really bad.
But I think this also highlights the difference between the Premiership and the Pro 14. I think it just glaringly shows the difference in quality.
Yeah, they go until the end, mate, and
yeah,
that's what's cost them at the end of this.
Paddy Jackson, Ryan from the Posts, and London Irish secured their place in the quarterfinals. The Blues won't make it. It is the final score. London Irish 41, Cardiff Blues 35. London Irish through to the quarterfinals. That is the final score. What a game of rugby, but massive disappointment for Blues there.
Yeah. End of the day, mate, just not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to give credit to London Irish, who kept going and kept going, but it's not really been the defence from the Blues at points has been atrocious. I think a lot of question marks on that. Navidi's going off injured as well, which is not great.
No.
Moments in the game for the Blues, but not good enough. Let's get some of your comments quickly. Let's have a look. Blues can't beat 14 men Irish, and Irish were down to 13 at one point. Blues bottled it. Can't believe it. 14 against 15, Blues lost. But as we just said, I think that just shows the quality in the Premiership compared to the Pro 14 this season. It's just worlds apart. It really is. If you're not Leinster, Ulster, or Munster, I don't know how competitive you can truly be against the likes of London Irish, who play some brilliant rugby and are a very, very good side. And yeah, we'll log off in just a second because I've got the watch on for Gloucester, La Rochelle coming up in a second. How would you summarise that game from Blues' point of view? Obviously, you're very disappointed, but some positives, a lot of things to work on.
It was a great game of rugby, mate, and the one thing you can't take away from is how well London Irish stayed in that game. Like people are saying in the comments, they were down to 13 at one point, and they've still come away with the win. For me, Blues' defence was appalling today. I think we leaked so many line breaks through the middle of that field. I think Jared Evans had probably one of his worst games I think I've seen him play in a Blues shirt. Both the Blues centres were at sea today. They really didn't look like they had a clue what was happening. So you've got to say ultimately London Irish deserved the win. We looked at it before the games. If the Blues big players could stand up, they had a really good chance, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and we come away with what is going to be a disappointing loss. You know, we should have won that game.
Yeah, very much so. I think the defence has a lot to be spoken about there, but the Blues created some good chances, but full credit to London Irish. Let's quickly go through some of your comments just before we log off. Don't forget as well, we're doing a Gloucester versus La Rochelle watch on. There's a link in the chat now, so do hit the link on there, hit the like and the reminder on that. We'll be going live in about 15 minutes time. Vincent is a London Irish fan, on the Irish. Helen, as a Blues fan, it's so annoying indeed. Calix says it's an insane game. We are going to be really going through the games in more detail on Monday night on the Welsh Rugby Roundup show. There's a link in the chat somewhere already for that. So make sure that you go like and follow the Welsh Rugby Roundup show on Facebook. And we will be looking back at all the Welsh regions, how they got on in Europe. But London Irish are victorious here, winning 41 points to 35. They're through to the quarterfinals. They will be facing Bath in the quarterfinals. And yeah, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I'll see you very shortly for the Gloucester against La Rochelle watch on. See you soon.